If you've ever been on art social media, then you've seen these types of posts, before and afters, where artists take their old pieces, characters, creations, and translate them into their new style. Whenever I feel like my art is bad, that I'm not where I want to be as an artist, I love to rifle through my old pieces and pluck a poor, unsuspecting victim to redraw. It's not like it's an uncommon practice for artists, but over the years, I've just kind of stopped. Time slipped through my fingers, and I realized that it's been a hot minute since I last redrew an art piece. So, in the name of artistic curiosity, I'm going to redraw this incredible, stunning, slightly embarrassing doodle from a decade ago. This one felt appropriate since it captures a tween essence that makes me shudder. It's so tween. I adore it as much as I despise it. The words in particular, mousels, small, tall, and Callum being 6'7" before 6'7". It's perfect. The characters here, unsurprisingly, if you breathe in the direction of my existence over the past 10 years, are the same ones I've drawn over and over. Folks, how many times can I find a new way to introduce them? It's Amy and Callum, baby! I'm going to spend this video breaking down the differences between old and new me's drawing style, general art decisions, and life. So here we go. When I was younger, I spent a lot of time online doing many character Q&As, doodle pages, and out-of-context comics. My sense of anatomy was like thin. I don't know how else to put it. My characters were crushed in a hydraulic press or something because all these dudes had pointy chins, skinny and scrawny. I survived off of YouTube anime drawing tutorials by like the one guy. You know, the one guy. Mark Crilly's tutorials were truly the backbone of the art community back then. When these videos were uploaded, as I unfortunately found out over 15 years ago, let it be known, it was not 15 years ago when I was watching them. It was a lot less years on that number. but they truly were the main source of my art development, which will have consequences as we talk about it. Oh god, time is an illusion. And while slowly over the years my anatomy has improved and de-skinified my characters, they've been de-hydraulic pressed, the one thing that stayed the same in my art, funnily enough, is my hatred of noses. These tutorials might have contributed to it, I'm not gonna lie. I love them in everyone else's style, but truly I never want to see a nostril in my life. Noses in perspective haunt my dreams. My very soul itches at the thought. I'm able to do it in more realistic styles like this one, but if you've looked at any old or recent art, me and this particular facial anatomy have a long-standing beef. I'm doing better with them now, especially because I've started adding like this little line, I don't know how to describe it, the second nostril line, which lets me define their shapes better, especially because I really want to keep diversifying my faces and bodies as much as I can. But that doesn't mean that there still isn't some long-standing resentment here. I still resent this part of the body. Honestly, whenever I think about this, I imagine making a video series where I relearn art fundamentals for like this sole purpose. Okay, but like not for this sole purpose, you know, it would just be a great excuse to face all the things I struggle with when drawing. I've been stuffing the idea in my back pocket, so you let me know if it's something you would also want to see too. I just want to get good. I want to get back on the grind, but in a fun, not like draining my soul kind of way. It's interesting to see not just how my anatomy used to be, but also the beginnings of my color choices here. The way I do colors today is a lot more saturated and has a bigger value range than how younger me drew, especially because washed out pastels seem to be just about like 90% of my choices as a kid. But even so, I learned to expand my tastes, and additionally to stop drawing Amaranthia like she was paler than the sun. It really is wild to look back on just how white her skin was. Girl was a pearl. What's so funny to me is that originally she had my skin tone because she was me. Pre-Callum, she had melanin. This is all society's fault. It's not. I just had a friend that drew her a certain way after I gave them a description of what I thought Amaranthia would look like, since I'd never drawn her properly at that point. And I liked their art of her so much that I redesigned Amy based off that friend's design and just kept it for years. That friend is also the reason, if you're wondering, why her ears are on the side of her head instead of up top like most catgirl adjacent OCs. They always drew animal ears where human ones are, and so it's a fun trait of their old art. Mwah. And unsurprisingly, as you may notice, that part's definitely stuck around, along with the pink hair. History. Redrawing and coloring this new piece, by the way, was so soothing. I always love adding this little light band to all the highlights in a piece. There's this like specific term that I've heard for it, and I know it because I've seen it countless times, but I've forgotten what it's called, so we're just gonna call it a light band. I also notice that now when I draw, there's more texture and hue variation. I had a ton of colors that are in the same value range as the mid-tone, light, and shadow ranges, but are different, like, adjacent colors on the color wheel, making them vibrate and draw the eye without it being really distracting. You know, it's not like I'm slapping a highlight in the middle of something, it's like I'm giving it a little hue shift, a little spice. And while I really love coloring things, I was honestly nervous to render the muscles here, since usually I just slap a big old rim light and call it a day, but it was actually pretty fun. My anatomy practice did have benefits. Who could have seen that coming? Muscles. But I still fight for my life though, not necessarily with anatomy, but more with doing flat colors and coloring in general, that base layer. It's half the reason I hesitate to make a coloring tutorial, because I am bullshitting my way through colors always, at all times. I can totally try, if you all want, I can definitely do it. We can all learn together how I color. We will all find out at the exact same time. It's funny when it comes to line art, because although there's some like little overlaps with how I color from before this point 10 years ago to now, my line art, it's like a huge overlap. It's just as messy as it was back then, perhaps even more. I did do line art in the ye olden days, but at this point, my sketch is all you're gonna get. Maybe sometimes I do a loose outline if I like to, or if I have to. Mostly it's just for comics, but for the most part, my sketch is my line art. I think I just despise line work, especially because sometimes it just isn't as expressive as the initial doodle, so I just forgo it altogether. I don't need it. I probably need it, but anyways, it's mostly just because the messiness lets me get away with more. Honestly, like, getting to look back on all of this, even as I'm talking about it, it's very incredibly sentimental. Seeing old friends and doodles, some of which I'm still in contact with, not the doodles friends, I mean, I guess I'm in contact with doodles, or those who I haven't talked to in years. It's the way that little me was clearly nervous about drawing these two being flirty, and then grew up into a person more confident in portraying their relationship. One may argue, too confident to a concerning degree. Besides the ominously threatening cropped image, it's like watching my own characters getting to grow up with me. It's so cool. Juvenile me also had a lot of commentary on her art, as you may notice. And that hasn't changed either, although my word choices thankfully have. Looking back at my old stuff, it isn't bad. It's just looking back at old me, specifically tween me. All my prior sketchbooks and artworks are an uncomfortable insight into what that time was like. But more that I remember this time in my life with a lot of disgust and disappointment for who I was. Art is a gateway to the soul and all that, but really it's more that algorithms are horrific. The videos I watched when I was younger were not great. I don't know, maybe Mark Curley was the one exception, but like, don't get me wrong, I'm glad to have grown, but I am not glad to have hurt other people because of the way that this was in the process. AKA, please teach your kids about becoming better people and watch their internet access so they don't hurt others and instead create a better world. Don't be like me. Honestly, I think that's part of the reason why it took me a long time to feel comfortable about incorporating cultural elements in these two characters. You may have noticed that a lot of the old art pieces in them, that there aren't any South Asian clothing pieces, anything. It honestly feels a little Orientalist. Ugh. Nor do they have any distinctive features outside of their ears. And while I was fine with that when I really didn't understand my roots, as I grew up, I had a lot of weird dilemmas about changing their designs even a little bit. My own characters, by the way, whom I can change however I want. And yet, it was this little obligation to a version of me that was content with how ambiguous they were, even if that version of me wasn't that great of a human being. So, baby steps. I drew them in like little bits of Indian clothing, added skin tone variation, so Amy did eventually get her melanin back. It worked out. Researching different histories in the world and incorporating them into their stories and selves, and not just these two, but most of my other characters. Callum's design in particular, I love because the little dots under his eyes, the tattoos on his neck, hands, and feet, the scars him and Amy share, they really distinguish them from your average elf and catgirl, even if they aren't elves or catgirls anymore. The spirit is still there. Callum's earrings too, once I figured them out, oh my gosh, good design choice, good design choice. Mwah. The hydraulic press version of him could never, okay? De-twinkified. It's actually kind of flabbergasting. He expanded. He is taking up more space. Amy's Noth too, her nose ring also just makes her so much prettier. I don't make up the rules. Having her wear more traditional clothing gives me such a distinct joy, especially with her having more fluffy limbs, the little stretch marks. Mwah, my babies. They've also gotten like exponentially hotter the moment I let go of the old versions of them and accepted that they would change as much as I would. This is all to say, expectations hold you back, run free, make people silly. All this truly reminds me that I have drawn a unfathomable amount of art, pages and files and videos that have gone on and on. Young me, as you may have noticed, contributed to a lot of those, uploading dozens of art pieces a week. And while now I tend to let myself go at my own pace, I'm getting to reflect back on this, writing this script. It's really surreal to see how far I've come. Like, genuinely, I am so glad that I've gotten to grow. And I hope that with all this, it gives you some inspiration to let yourself grow too. You don't have to sit by and do the same expectations for your characters. You don't have to stick to the same color palettes or line art or ways of living. You too can change. Okay, thanks to all my patrons, and to you too. Okay, bye.